Show us your tips for pro group racing. Daggy flying solo again on an Easter Sunday, having a look towards Easter Monday racing. Midweek racing preview, hot on the heels of the Vinery Day, which I guess saw, let's say, it being no disadvantage to be on pace for the afternoon. Some great performances there. We saw Hungry Heart reel in the Flying Harmony Rose, as I suppose those two head towards the Oaks. Thinking Montefilia, if she's sitting in the shed, if she's heading in that direction as well, might be very hard to beat if she gets a similar sort of pace set up there. We saw Sir Dragonet's Wait for Age credentials to the fore in the Tancred, and Mr. Quickie down south was another example of best horse in race getting a price because it was carrying top weight in a feature handicap. We've seen it a few times lately with Satori and Eduardo, and again in action yesterday. But let's look towards Easter Monday. We've got racing at Hawkesbury and at Sandown. We'll kick off at Hawkesbury, where the rail's true. Currently a good 4. There's some chance of rain throughout the afternoon. They've certainly had enough in the Hawkesbury, so hopefully not too much. Not a track I particularly like betting at, and not a track I'll probably play too large on tomorrow, but it's no disadvantage since they've extended the straight there. No disadvantage for on paces to be in action and sort of get to the middle of the track and lead all the way there. So we'll get into the Hawkesbury card. Race 1 is a 2,000 metre Class 1 and maiden. Look, I'm going to give Lamu a chance here, which will not lead and will not be that close to the pace, but won't be too far away in a small field. But it's a horse that in a previous life I was giving chances to in feature Flemington races. So I think last chance here coming out of the opponent a few weeks back where it got latched onto the back of the winner Welsh Legend, but just couldn't keep up, obviously. Finished tailed off, but this is a long, long way away from Group 3 action, back to a Class 1 at Hawkesbury. A couple of times since it's been sitting, it's shown some, glimpses of 200 metres here and there where it's run quite well. I think coming right back to here, it'll have to chase down the more fashionable connections of Rachel King and Mark Newnham with a bob, but I think Lamu, last chance here around the $5 mark, will be the way I'll potentially play the first. We get to the second, which is a maiden plate over the 1,100 metres, and I think there's a pretty nice horse kicking off here, at least comparative to grade in 6 again, the David Pfeiffer 3-year-old filly, who comes here off some nice trials, has won a couple and then was just nabbed by Najma in its first trial. Looks more than stylish enough to be dominant here. It is the favourite, but I think there's not much to beat. A lot of these are tied to each other through previous Hawkesbury efforts. If it comes here, I think it wins. If there is a blowout, I think it's I See Things, who has okay metro form, does draw inside. I think Keegan Latham won't be too far away, and around the $11 mark, not a bad way to play if you're looking for something at a double figure price. I think trials have both been double wraps, and I think the horse might be going okay, and I think can run a place here at a big price too. So they're the two for me in race 3. The 2-year-olds maiden plate over the 1,000 is race number 3, and I've just noticed the spate of scratchings this morning. Even with them, I'm still getting a reasonable price about Glen Eagles here. This started in the market, finishing second behind She's All Class, which obviously is went up to the Gold Coast and since run in a slipper. It's trained for changed trainers from Buston Young to David Payne, which is not necessarily something I'm overly excited about in terms of a stable change, but got a pretty good one I mentioned earlier, Montefilia, David Payne, and I think they've got a bit of opinion of this, so it'll be a project horse for him. I think he can kick off with a win. Trial was nice enough behind Safe, who came out and won yesterday, and will run well here. Race 3, number 4, Glen Eagles for me. Race number 4, another maiden, which hasn't been knocked around by scratchings yet. And I'm with the 2-year-old Maurice Midad, was an emergency for the feature for the 2-year-old race yesterday. Comes here having chased Conrad up at Gosford, and then was brave behind Coastwatch at Kenzo. Comes here. He's a 2-year-old taking on some of the older horses, but I think will lead. Rachel King will put a foot down to go straight lead and be very hard to catch. So again, favourite, but I think a nice betting opportunity. Race number 5, 300 metre benchmark 64. Again, sort of with the market here, number 3, Budhwar, Reece Jones from the outside gate will have one job, and that's to get across this field. Should lead coming off out of the Provincial Championships race where it was behind Great News, who we saw come out and just miss Star Spangled Radio. Good enough form for this. It's had form prior to that in town previously, where it was fancied and not far away behind the likes of Jailbreak and Femino. We'll get control of this race and not many chasers. We've got the track specialist Military Academy, always bobs around and runs well here. And Mix off the big Albury Kill will probably run well again as well. But with Budhwar to lead all the way once more. Class 1 is race 6 over the 1,500 metres. It's going to be giving him a start, but I think 15R is a decent horse. It was a nice debut at Warwick Farm, then was fancied in the Saturday race. I think it'd need every bit of 1,500 metres, but Waller just is assembling his Queensland army, it looks like, and every week he's rolling out some of these 3-year-olds, and they're all running well off the back of, a couple of quiet trials, or in some cases no trials. I think it's good enough to run in. Yardstick, who's obviously the one to catch, and will obviously have most of the pace favours in this race. But around the $4.50 mark, I think this is a good bet for a genuine Saturday horse in the making. Could be going on to something like a Queensland Oaks, I would suggest. And the last, Class 1 over the 1,100 metres, where outside of going against my better judgment here to put the Paul Massara Ceasefire Tamworth winner on top, it looks a big, strong beast that's going to roll along on the pace from that gate, I think, from gate 13. Should roll across and be very hard to catch. Around a $2.40. I think it might be a stylish animal, but not a stable I generally have much to do with, particularly in town. But coming to Hawkesbury, hopefully it's a step on the right way. Resilient Star has Metro form, run well. And the one at odds here, though, that I'll have something on at the current price is Gravina. You're getting Jay Collett. This is coming off the 3 trials. This beat Blondeau in town before it went out, and on the lead, who's we've seen gone and run well behind the likes of Wild Ruler. And around a $9.50 is a very good each way bet. It's got Prague and Dame Giselle form through earlier preparations as well. So right back in grade, Jason Collett booked around $9.50. I think it's a nice price here for Gravina. That's my quick thoughts on the meeting at Hawkesbury. Best of the day, I'm going to make with the map favours Budhwar, around the $5.50 mark. I think it's a good opportunity, and a 2 at odds. Beaver doesn't like me not putting horses I've got on top in as my best value, but the 2 at value for the day. Not necessarily putting them right on top, but good each way bets would be Gravina in the last, around a $9.50, and I see things around the $11 mark. 2 outside the market that I think will run well. Let's head down south, where the Sandown Hillside is the probably the better meeting of the afternoon on Easter Monday. Good track, rail in the 10. Last time we had this configuration was back in September, which was the day Labelle debuted in Australia and was able to run on. A few led the whole way. I think the track will play okay. It was very much down the middle with the rail in the 7 last Wednesday. I think it'll be a similar story here, but if you're good enough, I'm not too scared of leading. I am scared, however, of the first race, which is a maiden plate. Horrifying favourite in the market, probably rightfully so, coming back from benchmark races. It just feels like a trap race for me, and one that I won't be playing in. Similar story in a second with a lot of the unblooded 2-year-olds. Let's head to race 3 now, which is the 1,300 metres Class 1, where I will have on top Always a Moment, who returned for the Mick Kentyard 3-year-old filly, returned at Pakenham with a very nice maiden win. Just looks a stylish sort of animal. Mick Kent usually has a couple of good ones. He hasn't for a while, but a couple of good fillies here, and this looks like one that might potentially head to bigger and better things. And around a $2.70 mark, I think is a good bet. Hopefully not too far back in the run, can posse up outside lead or 1-1 from that gate, and be very hard to beat. Race number 4 is a benchmark 64, again over the 1,300 metres. Couple of scratchings here. Bo Rossa heads a market, probably rightfully so. Big win where it sort of cruised in round the bend, took wide and kicked away before condition probably gave out and was quite through the line. But with Jamie Carr booked here, not a strong race, can probably pose out wherever it wants and be very hard to beat. Succeed Indeed, Main Danger, which last win was at this track, which I believe was on the lakeside actually, but was a nice return, putting away a good field from the back. It was at Hillside, forgive me. Before going on entangling with black type fillies races through the Oaks, the Wakeful, and the Manifold. Obviously, a drop in grade here. Sometimes you see these fillies come back off the staying campaigns and be trained up a bit fresher and a bit more sprint in their lengths. If that's the case, I think still a nice enough horse to give this a shake. They're the two for me, which is reflected by the market in fairness. But yeah, the two I'll be looking around in this race. Quaddy kicks off in race number 5, benchmark 78, where it is sort of 1,000-metre, weird land here at Sandown, but Kilcarney again's leading the market. And I think, again, I'll be having a favourite on top. Last prep, not far off All Banter, then not far off Paul's Regret, who, that's almost black type girls form. So can find a position here. Our Gladiator will do what it does, which is spring across and drag the rest of the field with it. And Calcane Royale can hopefully cruise in on the fence right behind, and Jamie Carl just snipe at the right time and kick us off in nice style in the quaddie. Hecker Express is always there or thereabouts in these 1,000-metre races. From gate 1 will be close enough and be the one, the one that Kilcarney has to beat. But there, again, the two options there for me in that race. Race number 6 for benchmark 70, 1,400 metres. And look, Cirilio Miss resumed in really nice style, bolting in on a leader's lakeside, rounded them up and ran away. This is a stepping stone for bigger and better things, I believe. We'll know because Miss In Between's been tangling some of those better things and will be the one they've got to reel in. But I think this might be a nice horse. And due respect to Boom.com, the second favourite, who this Tasmanian form keeps stacking up and does look an impressive horse. So Cirilio Miss and Boom.com will fight at the finish, but if we see some of the leaders bias kick in at Sandown through the dip there, Miss In Between is going to be tough to catch. Race number 7. And just putting one on odds here, at odds on top. I think Dajumback can run well here. From the outside gate, Will Price, he'll get straight across the field. He'll take it up here. Honest, on-pace horse that's going to be the one I have to run past. You're getting around $7 here. Last time went to town and sort of overperformed last time against Flying Mascot, who was pretty good yesterday. What you're going to get, and I think at the price, is a very good betting opportunity from Laundy, who's honest, doesn't win a lot, and freshened up back here, can run well fresh over the 1,400 metres. And we'll wrap the day up with hopefully another good thing. Excelleration was tremendous last start. Excelleration was tremendous here, wrapping up a benchmark 64 field in quite easy fashion. Again, against a bias. Looks a very nice horse. Again, on the way to better stuff, and should be too good for this lot. The one that will improve, and I see it's been back since, is Kalani. Nice enough debut behind Shandy. It just sort of didn't take a gap at a key stage, and I believe if it can get from gate 6, get to the outside, I think this is going to run on and shows a bit more than it has. Very good stable, Paulie Pruska stable, and I think it's at around $7, a very good saver in the race, or a good each way bet to go with your favourite there. They're the two in the last, and pretty keen. I'll make my best Excelleration in the last there. So race 8, number 5 for Pro Group Racing. And my value, again, the cut 2 at odds that I'll play through those races will be to jump back in the second last and Kalani in the last. I think if you're looking for value, they're the two for the day. For progroupracing.com.au, this has been Cho as your tips. We'll be back this Thursday night with Beaver. He'll be back to look at the first day of the championships, which we're excited for. Keep tuning into Pro Group Racing for all their free tips and extensive guides. Give us a subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. You can also find us on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere good podcasts are found, if you'd like to just listen and not see this head. But otherwise, good luck tomorrow, punters, and we'll catch you next week.